Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori and this is Africa 54. In the Central African Republic, international aid agencies are trying to distribute food aid and other assistance to an estimated 100,000 displaced people living in makeshift tents at the airport at the capital, Bangui. Distribution of food and other essentials such as water buckets and waterproof mats was restarted Tuesday and is due to last for 10 days. The bulk of this displaced population has had no food aid up to now. Most of the people camping next to the French Army base at Bangui Airport fled there in early December to escape an outbreak of deadly communal violence. An aid worker told VOA he had never seen a camp where people were packed together so tightly, a sign of how desperate they are to get close to the French Army's protection. Joining us via phone from Bangui is reporter Nick Long. Nick, what can you report about the situation at the camp there next to the airport?
Well, hello, Vince. What's happened today, the medical charity Doctors Without Borders, better known by its French acronym MSF, relaunched a vaccination campaign against measles at the biggest displaced people's camp in Bangui, which is this camp at the airport which you've referred to. They're aiming to inject 68,000 children against measles. Several suspected cases of the disease were found at that camp, and measles can be deadly in insanitary conditions, such as they have at the camp in question. I say that they relaunched the campaign because they tried to vaccinate children there earlier. They tried last month and again last week. But last week they had to suspend the attempt because there was shooting going on. There were even shots flying close to the clinic where they were trying to hold the vaccinations. And several children elsewhere in the camp were reported to be killed. But in a sign of how the security situation has improved somewhat, they have been able to go ahead with the vaccinations today. And yesterday, they were able to distribute food.
Now, that sounds like... Yeah, that sounds like good news, the violence going down. From what you're hearing, from what you're seeing, what can you attribute the reduction of violence to?
Well, there are more peacekeepers, both with the French mission Sangaris and the African Union-led mission MISCA. They have both been reinforced in the past few weeks. They are conducting more patrols and they are trying to cordon off areas where there has been a lot of violence in the past week, so that at night you see the armoured vehicles heading off and taking up position at crossroads, at strategic points, and at the roads leading into and out of the flashpoints, or the areas where the violence has been tending to happen. Those areas are believed to be hideouts or areas where large numbers of armed men loyal to the former president Bozize, who lost power in March last year, are concentrated, or else areas where the ex-Seleka from the coalition, Seleka means coalition in the local language, have concentrated since they were officially demobilized by the new government which came into power after Seleka had taken control of Bangui in March of last year. So the peacekeepers seem to have got a strategy now for trying to contain violence. There may also have been some reaction from neighbouring countries to the violence, because this has led to the forced evacuation of a lot of people from Chad, for example. And Chad has been one of the supporters of the new regime in Bangui. It may be that the government in Chad has been putting pressure on the government to rein in their so-called uncontrolled elements of the Seleka.
Now, Nick, talking about the administration in Bangui, regional leaders are to have a meeting tomorrow. Can you tell us what they're going to be talking about?
Well, it's been reported by news agencies in different ways. One agency, Reuters, has reported that the future of the current interim president, Michel Djotodia, will be on the agenda. Then the government spokesman here came out with a statement saying that the future of Michel Djotodia as president of the Central African Republic would not be on the agenda. course, you might say that at this point the government will be likely to want to deny that. But Reuters were not quoting, was in fact quoting the French foreign minister as saying that there needs to be a rethink of how the CAR was going to be governed going forward.
Okay, Nick. Thank you, Nick. Nick Long joining us live from the Central African Republic's capital, Bangui.